The Kansas City T-Bones proudly present T-Bones Baseball on the Air. Members of the American Association of Independent Professional Baseball Clubs and home of fun well done. The T-Bones Broadcast Network is brought to you by Community America Credit Union, Austin's Trailers and Motorsports, Budweiser, Coca-Cola, Price Chopper, Providence Medical Center, the Kansas Lottery, FlyKCI.com, Roma Bakery, Sheet Metal Local Number 2, and Kissick Construction. Now let's head out to the ballpark for the starting lineups and the first pitch with the voice of the T-Bones, Nathan Moore. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome in to another suspended makeup game. We saw this earlier in this homestand here at Community America Ballpark after last night's game between Kansas City and Laredo was suspended heading into the bottom of the third inning with the Lemurs leading it 3-0. We're back at it here today. Finish a 9-inning game, and then we'll play 7 innings after that. Welcome to Community America Ballpark. I am Matt Folks, filling in for Nathan Moore. Here early in this conclusion of the suspended game, Mike Kickham last night went 3 innings for Kansas City, gave up 4 hits, 3 runs. None of the 3 runs were earned as Vladimir Frias committed an error, Mike Kickham committed an error, Ryan Retz at third base committed an error, and each of those errors led to a Laredo run. Kansas City, on the other hand, could not get anything going against Perez. Perez went 2 innings, gave up just 2 hits last night, and struck out 5. So here we go. We get set for the bottom of the third inning. And pitching in this first game is going to be the pitcher we expected to see for Laredo in the second game tonight. That is left-hander Zach Dodson. Zach Dodson, 1-1 on the season, 0.64 ERA. He's making his 4th start. He's appeared in 14 innings, given up 8 hits, 1 run. That 1 run was earned. He has struck out 11, walked 8. He's faced 55 batters in his 14 innings, and they are hitting a paltry 174 against the lefty Zach Dodson. And basically for Laredo, it's somewhat of a sticky situation because they have essentially a doubleheader tonight, and then they go to Joplin tomorrow for a doubleheader. So originally it was supposed to be Zach Dodson in the series finale, which is going to be later tonight, and then Troy Marks starting game 1 of their doubleheader tomorrow at Joplin. But instead it's going to be Zach Dodson here in the first game, and then Troy Marks in game number 2. We'll see who comes out for Kansas City in the 4th inning. It'll be Jordan Cooper for the T-Bones in the nightcap here tonight, much like we saw on Saturday against Texas. So it'll be Ryan Retz, Nolan Johnson, the back to the top with Tyler Massey as the first pitch misses low and inside to Ryan Retz. Again, we're in the bottom of the third inning, 3-0 in favor of the Lemurs. They scored 2 runs in the second and 1 in the top of the third as this one swung on a miss by Ryan Retz. Ryan Retz did not get up to bat last night, nor did Nolan Johnson, as this pitch is tapped foul toward the Lemur dugout. Ryan Retz batting .250 with Kansas City. No home runs, 1 driven in as he grounds this one foul down the third base side. So far out of Dodson, we've seen a lot of off-speed stuff, a lot of what you'd probably consider a crafty lefty. As the 1-2 pitch misses low and away. Kyle Kilgore, the umpire behind the plate. A.J. Cho at first base. Kurt Brannon is over at third. The next pitch is low and away. And the count's full to Ryan Retz. Laredo today coming out in their camouflage jerseys with the gray pants. Here's the windup and the payoff pitch. Low and away for ball 4 as Ryan Retz was able to hold up on a swing. So the first batter that Zach Dodson faces, he walks. So the thinking for Laredo, they use a starting pitcher here tonight with hopes that Dodson can go the distance or pretty close to the distance. As the first pitch to Nolan Johnson's in there for a strike. So they salvaged their bullpen a little bit, at least in their thinking with this move. I believe we'll see Johnny Shuttlesworth for Kansas City as Nolan Johnson swings and misses. So Kansas City, in all likelihood, will go with a long reliever instead of a starting pitcher. As Johnson fouls this one back and out of play. So we've just started play in the bottom of the third inning of last night's suspended game. As Dodson, the lefty, comes set at the belt. The kick and the 0-2 pitch is fouled back and out of play. Dodson signed with Laredo as this one's tapped foul down the first base side. Fielded by Poso, but just outside the bag. Dodson signed a minor league contract with the Orioles, ended up not pitching for the Baltimore organization after serving a 100-game suspension for a drug violation. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Grounded down toward third, but foul. That suspension for Dodson was his third suspension. The Pirates originally drafted him in the 4th round of the 2009 draft out of high school. Dodson comes set at the belt. The kick and the 0-2 pitch, again tapped foul, right through the hands of the bat boy next to the Laredo dugout. Laredo has lost the last 2 games in which Dodson has pitched. And here's a swing and a miss. Johnson goes down on strikes. So the first out for Laredo here in the third inning. We go back to the top for Tyler Massey. Runner at first is Ryan Retz. He walked leading off this inning. And after the strikeout to Johnson, we go to Tyler Massey, who struck out in the first inning last night. He's 0 for 1. And on the left side of the plate against the lefty Dodson. First pitch on the way, and it's in there for a strike. In that 2009 draft class that included Zach Dodson, this one swung on a miss, and Massey behind on the count 0-2. It included Laredo pitchers Ryan Beckman, who we saw Tuesday night, and Jeff Inman. Here's the 0-2 to Massey. Fastball, it's outside. Dodson spent 3 seasons at Double-A Altoona for the Pirates organization. He went 11-19 with a 4.21 ERA and 53 appearances, as he will pick off Ryan Retz over at first base. So Retz was leaning a little bit, and Donson was able to pick him off for the second out. So now nobody on for Kansas City, trailing 3-0. Next pitch to Massey is swung on and missed. And just like that, Donson will face the minimum with a couple strikeouts here in the third inning. So 3 in the books. We head to the fourth. Kansas City trails 3-0. We're back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811, brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
It's always good to know that great doctors are close by. In fact, the great doctors of Providence Medical Center are right down the street from the ballpark at 89th and Parallel. Count on Providence when you need 24/7 emergency services, an accredited chest pain center, or specialized orthopedic and sports medicine services. Providence Medical Center is proud to be the official healthcare partner of the T-Bones. Learn more at providencekc.com.
Well, the T-Bones have had a couple base running issues, we'll say, here in this game. Last night in the first inning, after Dalton Wheat singled with one out, he was thrown out trying to steal. And then here today in the bottom of the third inning, Ryan Retz was picked off by Zach Donson. So we go to the fourth inning, 3-0 in favor of the Lemurs. Johnny Shuttlesworth, indeed, will be the Kansas City pitcher. The right-hander out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. See, I can't say that without trying to deep down pull out a little Keith Jackson. Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So Shuttlesworth facing Metzger, Rondon, and Nieves. Metzger reached on a fielder's choice and scored one of the 3 runs as he lifts this one high into right field. Dalton Wheat tracks toward the line, camps under and pulls it down for out number 1. So 1 up, 1 down for Shuttlesworth as it brings up the number 9 hitter, Alvaro Rondon. Rondon grounded out last night to Retz at third base, but it was the play that brought in Pulfer and scored the first run of the game, as the first pitch from Shuttlesworth is in there for a strike. Shuttlesworth making his 31st appearance, his 6th start, as this one's lined over the head of Wiley into right center for a base hit. So 1 out base hit gives the Lemurs 5 hits in the game. Shuttlesworth 3-6 with 1 save and a 5.55 ERA. He's appeared in 58 1/3 innings, given up 72 hits, 39 runs, 36 of those have been earned. As he will work out of the stretch for the first time with Rondon at first base. Nieves goes after the first pitch and fouls it back and out of play. Nieves 1 for 1. He walked in the first inning, singled with an RBI in the second. Shuttlesworth with a strikeout to walk ratio of 50-28. As the next pitch is lifted into center field, tracking back is Massey, going toward the warning track, reaches up and makes the play for out number 2. A nice play by Tyler Massey, and somewhat thankfully he got it right before the ball got to the warning track. The warning track tonight is going to be a little bit soft as Massey's momentum took him right to the edge of the warning track after making that play. So 2 outs in the inning with Rondon at first base. It brings up the right fielder, Dennis Phipps. But with all the rain we got last night and a little bit more earlier today, the warning track, in spite of the outstanding job by the grounds crew, is still a little soft, understandably so. And I will say the grounds crew did an outstanding job getting this field ready. With all the rain we got here in Kansas City last night and earlier today as Rondon takes off, but Phipps will foul this one into the seats. So 1-1 the count, 3-0 your score, Lemurs on top. We're in the top of the 4th inning of last night's suspended game. And I had said a few moments ago that Shuttlesworth was making his 6th start. Obviously, that is incorrect. Shuttlesworth has faced Laredo twice this season. As this one's fouled sharply down the third base side. Just missing being a fair ball by inches. Shuttlesworth in those 2 appearances against Laredo has pitched in 4 innings, given up 6 hits, 5 runs, all earned. That's an 11.25 ERA. This one's grounded toward third. Rents up with it. He'll make the throw to Wiley, covering second for out number 3 as they'll force off Rondon for the 3rd out. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Kansas City trailing 3-0. We're back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811, brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
It's always good to know that great doctors are close by. In fact, the great doctors of Providence Medical Center are right down the street from the ballpark at 89th and Parallel. Count on Providence when you need 24/7 emergency services, an accredited chest pain center, or specialized orthopedic and sports medicine services. Providence Medical Center is proud to be the official healthcare partner of the T-Bones. Learn more at providencekc.com.
We go to the 4th inning with Kansas City trailing Laredo 3-0. It'll be 2-3-4 for Kansas City. Dalton Weed, Brett Wiley, Jake Blackwood. Kansas City with 2 hits in this game. They've had a base runner in each of the first 3 innings. The first base hit of the night for Kansas City came in the first inning from this guy right here, Dalton Weed. He was caught stealing, though, and that was sandwiched by strikeouts to Massey and Wiley. As the first pitch to Weed is in there for a called strike. Dalton Weed batting .329. No home runs, 22 driven in as this one sails across for a called strike. Dodson, the lefty, out of the full windup. The 0-2 pitch just swung on and missed. So the third consecutive strikeout for Dodson, and with one out here in the fourth, it brings up Brett Wiley. Wiley struck out in the first inning last night against Gabe Perez. You don't see this very often, but Dodson, I had mentioned that he was released by the Orioles without pitching for the Baltimore organization. As the 1-0 pitch to Wiley, paints the black on the outside corner for a called strike. Dodson wheels and deals, and this one's fouled back to the screen. You don't see this very often, as the count is 1-2 to Wiley, not 0-2 as the scoreboard shows. Here's the next pitch. Off-speed pitch that's left inside, and the count evens up at 2-2. Scoreboard still showing 1-2. As the next pitch is swung on and popped up. Into shallow. Now it drifts back in with this wind. It's going to be caught by the shortstop, Rondon, for the second out. So 2 up, 2 down here in the fourth inning, and it brings up the first baseman, Jake Blackwood. But the Lemurs signed Dodson on August 9th. That is the same day he was released by the Orioles. And he went on to start that night for the Lemurs. As the first pitch to Blackwood is low and inside. He won that game against Texas as Blackwood lines this one into right for a base hit. So the T-Bones have had a runner on base in each of the first 4 innings tonight. And I apologize now if I say tonight when I'm referencing the whole game. A game that started last night. Went 2.5 innings before the rain washed the rest of it out, suspending it until tonight. So we'll play a 9-inning game here and then the 7-inning game for game number 2 tonight. As Anthony Gallus is the batter, and he watches the first pitch from Dodson paint the black on the outside corner for a called strike. In 2 innings last night, Perez had 5 strikeouts. As Gallus lifts this one into center field, drifting back is Metzger, and he'll make the play for the third out. So Kansas City has had 4 base runners through 4 innings, but nobody has come across. We've played 4. We go to the 5th, 3-0 in favor of the Lemurs. We're back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
Country Inn & Suites in Village West is the official hotel of the KC T-Bones. We conveniently share the parking lot with the stadium and offer access to the best shopping and entertainment. Enjoy a comfortable stay with top-notch services and amenities. Start your day off right with our Be Our Guest breakfast. Our exceptional service makes Country Inn & Suites the ideal hotel in KC for anyone traveling for business or pleasure. Stay with us on your next trip and we'll have you saying, I love this country. Book today at countryinns.com/Kansas City KS.
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811, brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
We go to the fifth inning. Laredo leading it 3-0. 3 runs, 5 hits for the Lemurs. No runs, 3 hits, 3 errors for Kansas City as this one in there for a strike from Shuttlesworth to Ty Morrison. Ty Morrison 0 for 1, struck out in the first inning, walked and scored in the third. And Shuttlesworth goes ahead in the count 1-2. Scoreboard missing a strike, but this one's down in the dirt. I believe it's 2-2, and yeah, it's 2-2. The scoreboard showing 3-1. Here's the windup in the 2-2 pitch. It's fouled sharply off the sweet level. Kansas City with 3 errors last night. As a 2-2 pitch, swung on and missed. And Shuttlesworth will get his first strikeout here tonight. And with 1 out here in the fifth, it brings up the first baseman, Jesus Poso. First pitch to Poso is on the inside part of the plate for a called strike. Poso, right-handed hitter. Shuttlesworth, the right-handed pitcher, delivers this one low and inside, and we're even up 1-1. Here's a grounder to Frias. Shortstop up with it, makes a nice, easy throw for out number 2. So 2 up, 2 down here in the fifth, and it brings up the catcher, Zane Chavez. Chavez 0 for 2 with a flyout ending the first inning and a strikeout in the third. I had mentioned the 5 strikeouts by Perez through 2 innings. Kickham last night had 6 strikeouts through 3. As the first pitch is tapped foul. Chavez was one of those 6 strikeouts for Kickham. As this curveball from Shuttlesworth misses outside. 3-0, Laredo leading it. We're in the top of the 5th inning. We'll play 9 innings here. A scheduled 9 and then a scheduled 7-inning game after this. Much like we saw Saturday night against Texas. This pitch is in there for a strike. Here's the 1-2. Down low. And the count evens up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Shuttlesworth has picked up his tempo here in this inning as he paints the black on the outside corner for a called third strike. So Shuttlesworth gets a couple strikeouts here in the 5th inning. He will get Laredo in order. 1, 2, 3. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Kansas City trailing it by a score of 3-0. We're back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
It's always good to know that great doctors are close by. Providence Medical Group has offices in Bonner Springs, Basehor, Tonganoxie, Lansing, Leavenworth, and KCK. That's why we're the go-to community hospital in the region. If you're a T-Bones fan, count on the medical team that takes care of your team. The great doctors of Providence Medical Center, just east of the ballpark at 89th and Parallel. Learn more at providencekc.com.
Heathwood Oil Company was the first independently owned oil company in Kansas City, and they're now one of the oldest continuously family-owned oil companies in the Midwest, featuring Citgo lubricants. With a current bulk storage capacity of over 250,000 gallons, they have the products you need. Let Heathwood and Citgo design a Citgo lubricants program to reduce cost and increase production. Call 913-321-1764 or email sales@heathwoodoil.com. Heathwood and Citgo, your lubrication specialist since 1926.
We go to the fifth inning. It'll be Tyson Gillies, Vladimir Frias, Ryan Retz. The three Kansas City hitters here to face Zach Dodson. Again, this game started last night, went 2.5 innings before being suspended because of the rain, and the timing couldn't have been better in terms of wanting to get through a half inning, not necessarily wanting to be in the middle of an inning when the rain hits and then trying to pick it up the next day. So Tyson Gillies leading things off here in the fifth inning for Kansas City. Gillies with one of Kansas City's 3 hits. Watches the first pitch from the lefty Dodson, miss low and away. Here's the 1-ball pitch. It paints the black on the outside corner for a called strike. In the top of the third last night, Laredo made the score 3-0 as Gillies chases a bad one and comes up empty. Gillies goes after another bad one, taps it right back to the pitcher Dodson, who makes a nice play to get the hustling Gillies at first. So a 1-3 putout for round number 1, and it brings up the shortstop Vladimir Frias. Frias struck out ending the second inning. He's 0 for 1. But in that third inning last night, Kickham walked the leadoff batter Ty Morrison, who scored later in the inning on a throwing error by third baseman Ryan Retz. That play happened as this pitch misses inside. Morrison was on third base as this one's grounded towards short. Rondon up with it over to first in plenty of time to get Frias. 6-3 for out number 2. And it brings up the third baseman, Ryan Retz. So Ryan Retz the batter now. He walked in the bottom of the third inning. First pitch missing outside to Retz. So Retz has faced Dodson once here tonight. But after walking, as this one's fouled back and out of play, after walking, Retz was caught leaning and Dodson picked him off. As this one's in there for a called strike. And it's 1-2 to Retz. But on that throw by Retz last night, Morrison scored, but Jesus Poso, who was on first, tried to score as the ball from Rents to Blackwood went past the tarp, which was being manned at the time, and they're getting ready to put it on the field. Here's the 2-2 to Rents. Big swing and a miss. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Zach Dotson. This is the first inning in which Kansas City has not had a base runner here in this game, as Dotson will get his fourth strikeout here in just 3 innings of work. But Poso tried to score from first base. He was thrown out at home plate by right fielder Dalton Wheat, ending the inning. And then moments later, the rains came as they're getting the tarp on the field. So it was perfect timing in that regard last night. As we continue play here today, we've now played 5, and the Laredo leads it 3-0. We're back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
Country Inn and Suites in Village West is the official hotel of the KC T-Bones. We conveniently share the parking lot with the stadium and offer access to the best shopping and entertainment. Enjoy a comfortable stay with top-notch services and amenities. Start your day off right with our Be Our Guest breakfast. Our exceptional service makes Country Inn and Suites the ideal hotel in KC for anyone traveling for business or pleasure. Stay with us on your next trip and we'll have you saying, I love this country. Book today at countryinns.com/Kansas City KS.
It's always good to know that great doctors are close by. In fact, the great doctors of Providence Medical Center are right down the street from the ballpark at 89th and Parallel. Count on Providence when you need 24/7 emergency services, an accredited chest pain center, or specialized orthopedic and sports medicine services. Providence Medical Center is proud to be the official healthcare partner of the T-Bones. Learn more at providencekc.com.
We go to the 6th inning of this 9-inning game, including last night's suspended contest between Kansas City and Laredo. The Lemurs leading at 3-0. It'll be 6, 7, 8. Pulfer, Reynolds, Metzger here to face Shuttlesworth as his first pitch from Johnny's down in the dirt. Shuttlesworth, a good candidate for picking up a suspended game like this. A long reliever as this pitch is popped up, heads toward the Kansas City dugout, and will find its way into the suites. And right back down. Actually bounced off the steps in the suite and went downstairs. So the count 1-1 now to J.D. Pulfer. Pulfer 0 for 2. He reached on an error by Vladimir Frias last night. Came around to score and also struck out. This pitch misses. It's now 2-1. The windup and the 2-1 pitch is fouled back to the screen. Kansas City tonight in their, at least here in this game, in their black jerseys trimmed in ox blood and gold. The white pants. Defensively around the outfield, Gillies, Massey, and Wheat going from left to right. Shuttlesworth looks into his catcher, Johnson. Here's the 2-2. Way inside. The infield for Kansas City from third to first, Rents, Frias, Wiley, and Blackwood. Here's the windup and the payoff pitch. Got him jammed on the hands. He pops it up into foul territory on the third base side. Reds comes in and reaches out and makes the catch for out number 1. So 1 away here in the 6th for the left fielder, Burt Reynolds. Reynolds 0 for 2 with a strikeout, and he reached on the air by Rents in the top of the 3rd inning last night. The windup and the first pitch is in there for a called strike. But Shuttlesworth started this season as a starting pitcher, started the season in the rotation for Kansas City. This one's in there for a strike. So he is a great candidate to try to get, if you want somebody to go long, as he will get Reynolds out on 3 pitches. That is the second time Reynolds has struck out in this game. It's the 3rd K for Shuttlesworth. The first strikeout for Reynolds came in the 2nd inning against Mike Kickham. And with 2 up, 2 down here in the 6th, it brings up the center fielder, Brennan Metzger. First pitch to Metzger, misses down low. Metzger 0 for 2, but reached on a fielder's choice and came in and scored in the 2nd inning. One of the 3 runs for Laredo as he pops this one up toward the seats down the third base side. Rhett's finding the seats, and now it goes about 3 rows back. Frias there as well for Kansas City, but neither one able to reach it. We had rain early this morning here in the Kansas City area, but a lot of big clouds here tonight as the big curveball is in there for a called strike. Metzger questioning Kyle Kilgore's call, but really more than anything, he was just fooled by that pitch from Shuttlesworth as the next pitch misses low and away. But the wind blowing directly in from left field tonight. We saw that effect of pop-up a couple innings ago. As this one's lifted into center field, Massey going toward right center, calls off Wheat, camps under and pulls it down for out number 3. So the second consecutive 3 up, 3 down, thrown by Johnny Shuttlesworth. Kansas City goes into the bottom of the 6th inning, trailing at 3-0. We're back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
At Community America, we're redefining wealth. It's time to focus on what really fills our lives with meaning. The experiences and relationships that define who we are and what we value. At Community America, what matters to you matters to us. Because when you have financial peace of mind, you can live life to the fullest. Make today wealthy.
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811, brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
T-Bones trailing 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. It'll be 9-1-2 for the T-Bones. Nolan Johnson, Tyler Massey, Dalton Wheat. Zach Dodson still on the hill for Laredo as he gets Johnson to chase one inside. Johnson 0 for 1 with a strikeout in the 3rd inning. He was the first strikeout tonight for Zach Dotson as this one paints the black on the outside corner for a called strike. So the count 0-2 now to Johnson. The next pitch swung on, popped up on the right side. Going out is Poso, but will drop right between Poso and Pulfer. And Johnson will be aboard. As Poso just whiffed on it. So Kansas City with a runner aboard, and it brings up Tyler Massey. Massey 0 for 2. He has struck out twice. As this one's down low to Massey. This is the final night of this 6-game homestand for Kansas City. After dropping 2 of 3 to Texas, this is essentially the second game as this one's tipped foul. The second of 3 games right here between Kansas City and Laredo. The T-Bones lost Tuesday night in the series opener, 13-9. Dotson with the 1-1 pitch. Massey taps it right back to Dotson, who'll go to first for the sure out. Johnson moves up to second base. So with one away, and Kansas City with its first runner in scoring position tonight brings up the right fielder Dalton Wheat. Wheat 1 for 2 with a single and a strikeout. Check that. It's going to be Starlin Rodriguez hitting for Wheat. So a pinch hitter for Kansas City will be Starlin Rodriguez. As Rodriguez jumps on this pitch and takes it to center field, but going back is Metzger, and he'll make the play. It looked pretty good coming off the bat of Rodriguez, but somewhat died in that wind. So with Johnson holding up at second base, it's now second base with 2 outs for Kansas City for Brett Wiley. Wiley batting .325, looking for his first hit here tonight. He remains one of the top hitters in this league. Coming into tonight, batting 5th in the league. As the 1-strike pitch is swung on and missed. Wiley with 101 hits and 309 at-bats. He has 5 home runs, 42 RBIs. As the 0-2 pitch is fouled back and out of play. With a strikeout earlier in this game, he has now struck out 56 times. He's down in the count here to Dotson, 0-2. Johnson gets his lead at second. The kick and the pitch is swung on and tapped, but held on to by the catcher Chavez. And Dotson will get his 5th strikeout of the game. And Kansas City unable to do anything with Nolan Johnson, who reached on a leadoff error here in the 6th inning. We go to the 7th, Kansas City trailing it 3-0. We're back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
At Community America, we're redefining wealth. It's time to focus on what really fills our lives with meaning. The experiences and relationships that define who we are and what we value. At Community America, what matters to you matters to us. Because when you have financial peace of mind, you can live life to the fullest. Make today wealthy.
Heath Hethwood Oil Company was the first independently owned oil company in Kansas City, and they're now one of the oldest continuously family-owned oil companies in the Midwest, featuring Citgo lubricants. With a current bulk storage capacity of over 250,000 gallons, they have the products you need. Let Heathwood and Citgo design a Citgo lubricants program to reduce cost and increase production. Call 913-321-1764 or email sales@heathwoodoil.com. Heathwood and Citgo, your lubrication specialist since 1926.
Kansas City trails 3-0 as we go to the 7th. It'll be 9-1-2 for Laredo. Rondon, Nieves, Phipps here to face Shuttlesworth. 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error, 4 left on for Laredo. No runs, 3 hits, 3 errors, and 3 left on for Kansas City as Rondon goes after the first one and fouls it back. Rondon 1 for 2 in this game, including a single against Shuttlesworth in the 4th inning, as this one's in there for a strike. So Johnny ahead in the count, 0-2. Rodriguez stays in the game in right field for Kansas City, as this curveball from Shuttlesworth misses down low. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. As Rondon goes after this one, does all he can to stay alive. Kansas City will get Evan DeLuca up in the bullpen, as this curveball from Shuttlesworth misses outside. Shuttlesworth about to throw his 45th pitch here tonight. And the 2-2 is lifted into left field. And Gillies goes back, now comes in a couple steps, camps under and pulls it down for out number 1. Yeah, with 1 out here in the 7th, it brings up the third baseman, Abel Nieves. Nieves was activated by Laredo the last time they were here in Kansas City just a couple weeks ago. As the first pitch is in there for a strike. All he has done since then is get a base hit in each game since then. Counts 1-1 now from Shuttlesworth. The next pitch is low and away. Nieves batting .293. 2 home runs, 16 RBIs. Shuttlesworth wheels and deals the 2-1 pitch, and it's high and inside. Nieves went to Major League camp with the Angels in 2010 as he grounds this one towards second. Wiley backhands it and throws to first in time for out number 2. So 2 up, 2 down here in the 7th, and it brings up the right fielder, Dennis Phipps. Phipps, we have seen around for the last few years. He's in his 3rd season with Laredo. He started off this season, the winter / early part of this season, in the Mexican League, as he had no intention on swinging this one and missed low and away. Phipps in on the right side of the plate. Shuttlesworth, the right-hander, wheels and deals the 2-ball pitch. And the curveball is in there for a strike. A nice curveball here tonight by Shuttlesworth. We've seen it fool Phipps. We saw it last inning fool Burt Reynolds, as this one's grounded foul toward the tarp. So Shuttlesworth, after being down the count 2-0, has battled back to even it up at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Laredo leading it 3-0 here in the top of the seventh. As the 2-2 pitch is fouled back and out of play, Phipps not happy with himself that he missed that one. Now Phipps will call timeout and step out. Phipps was born in the Dominican Republic. As the next pitch, fastball at 88, misses high and inside. So 3-2 the count now. As Shuttlesworth is already ready to go against Phipps. Here's the payoff pitch. Curveball that misses somewhere. Phipps sold that one by heading to first almost before the ball was completely in Johnson's glove. So the first walk for Shuttlesworth, and with a runner aboard, John Mazzarelli will come out. DeLuca likely is ready, and we'll see if Maz goes to the bullpen, and he will. So Johnny Shuttlesworth with an outstanding outing here for Kansas City. He went 3 2/3. We'll have his numbers officially after we see what happens with Dennis Phipps. But John Mazzarelli and the T-Bones will turn to lefty Evan DeLuca with 2 outs here in the 7th inning, and Kansas City trailing at 3-0. We're back after this 2-minute break on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
It's always good to know that great doctors are close by. In fact, the great doctors of Providence Medical Center are right down the street from the ballpark at 89th and Parallel. Count on Providence when you need 24/7 emergency services, an accredited chest pain center, or specialized orthopedic and sports medicine services. Providence Medical Center is proud to be the official healthcare partner of the T-Bones. Learn more at providencekc.com.
At Community America, we're redefining wealth. It's time to focus on what really fills our lives with meaning. The experiences and relationships that define who we are and what we value. At Community America, what matters to you matters to us. Because when you have financial peace of mind, you can live life to the fullest. Make today wealthy.
I loved when the ice cream truck came around as a kid, the familiar music and the cool treats on a hot summer afternoon.
What's your happy place?
Have a Frosty Treats ice cream truck at your next corporate or private party. FrostyTreats.com.
Country Inn & Suites in Village West is the official hotel of the KC T-Bones. We conveniently share the parking lot with the stadium and offer access to the best shopping and entertainment. Enjoy a comfortable stay with top-notch services and amenities. Start your day off right with our Be Our Guest breakfast. Our exceptional service makes Country Inn & Suites the ideal hotel in KC for anyone traveling for business or pleasure. Stay with us on your next trip and we'll have you saying, I love this country. Book today at countryinns.com/Kansas City KS.
I loved when the ice cream truck came around as a kid, the familiar music and the cool treats on a hot summer afternoon.
What's your happy place?
Have a Frosty Treats ice cream truck at your next corporate or private party. FrostyTreats.com.
So Evan DeLuca comes in for Kansas City with 2 outs and 1 aboard here in the top of the 7th, with the T-Bones trailing Laredo 3-0. Matt Folks back along with you here at Community America Ballpark. Nathan Moore will be with us here later on tonight. We have this 9-inning game to complete, and then we'll have a 7-inning game shortly hereafter. So Evan DeLuca comes on, the lefty out of White House Station, New Jersey. He comes in with Dennis Phipps over at first base. Ty Morrison, the batter, and the first pitch from DeLuca misses way inside. We saw DeLuca in the first game of this series here against Laredo in that 13-9 Kansas City loss. He went 1 inning, gave up 3 hits, 2 runs. Both runs were earned. He did not walk anybody and had 1 strikeout in that inning. As he goes over to first, Phipps gets back safely. Phipps, 17 of 19 in stolen base attempts. Gets his lead at first, kind of dancing around over there. As DeLuca comes to the plate and gets the fastball on the outside part of the plate at 91 for a called strike. So the count evens up now, 1-1. Laredo leading it 3-0. We're in the top of the 7th with 2 outs. Phipps with a very casual hand on his hips kind of lead over at first. DeLuca comes to the plate with a 1-1 pitch, and Morrison goes after it, comes up empty. Morrison batting .281, 4 home runs, 36 driven in. A fairly wide and wide open stance on the left side of the plate. DeLuca, the lefty, comes set. The kick and the pitch. The runner with a delayed steal. The throw down to second base, not in time as it bounces out of the glove of Vladimir Frias. So Phipps will get a stolen base. That'll be number 18 now on the season out of 20 attempts. And with the runner at second, count now even, 2-2 to Morrison. Morrison 0 for 2 with a couple strikeouts. He's also walked and scored a run. The kick and the pitch is way inside as Phipps almost with a John Wathan type walking lead, where he just continues to move, and he ends up getting a huge secondary lead. DeLuca comes set, checks Phipps, now comes to the plate, and the 3-2 pitch misses low and away. So back-to-back walks, the first by Shuttlesworth, and now this one by DeLuca, puts runners at first and second for Jesus Poso. Poso 1 for 3. A strikeout, a ground out, and a single. So Phipps with good speed at second base. Morrison will get a extra big lead over at first, not being held on there. Now DeLuca will step off and chase Phipps back to second base. T-Bones trailing 3-0 here in the top half of the 7th inning. DeLuca, the lefty, comes set at the belt. The kick and the first pitch is lined sharply down toward the GA section. Off the bat of Jesus Poso. Poso, who's known by his teammates as Panda, will get sent to dig back in on the right side. A .288 batting average with 9 home runs. Wiggles the bat above his head as DeLuca comes set. A check of the runners, now the pitch. Paints the blank on the inside corner for a called strike. So DeLuca, after walking Morrison, now ahead in the count 0-2 to Poso. Phipps, who walked against Shuttlesworth, gets his lead at second. Morrison with a bigger lead at first. Now Phipps kind of dancing around as DeLuca comes to the plate. And this one's lifted into right field. Rodriguez drifts over, camps under, and pulls it down for out number 3. So a couple walks here in the 7th inning, but DeLuca able to work around those. and get out of the inning here unscathed. It's stretch time here at Community America Ballpark with Kansas City trailing 3-0. We're back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
At Community America, we're redefining wealth. It's time to focus on what really fills our lives with meaning. The experiences and relationships that define who we are and what we value. At Community America, what matters to you matters to us. Because when you have financial peace of mind, you can live life to the fullest. Make today wealthy.
Heathwood Oil Company was the first independently owned oil company in Kansas City, and they're now one of the oldest continuously family-owned oil companies in the Midwest, featuring Citgo lubricants. With a current bulk storage capacity of over 250,000 gallons, they have the products you need. Let Heathwood and Citgo design a Citgo lubricants program to reduce cost and increase production. Call 913-321-1764 or email sales@heathwoodoil.com. Heathwood and Citgo, your lubrication specialist since 1926.
Zach Dotson with a 3-0 lead back on the hill for Laredo. As we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, it'll be Jake Blackwood, Anthony Gallus, and Tyson Gillies. Zach Dotson has really not had any issues tonight. This will be his 5th inning of work. Kansas City was able to get base runners in each of the first 2 innings against Dotson before Dotson had a 1-2-3 5th inning. As the first pitch to Blackwood misses down low. Then Dotson able to work around a leadoff error by Poso that allowed Johnson to reach. Johnson made it to second, but he was stranded there. 2-0 the count now to Blackwood. As the next pitch misses, so Blackwood ahead in the count 3-0. Although this technically is not a start for Dotson, his first 3 appearances were all starts, including one against Kansas City on August the 14th. This pitch is upstairs to Blackwood, and Jake will draw a leadoff walk here in the 7th. That's the second walk given up by Dotson. As we'll get some stretching down in the Laredo bullpen. Dotson, originally from the San Antonio area. It's about 2.5 hours from Laredo. First pitch to Gallus is fouled into the Laredo dugout. So he signed on August the 9th. Went out and beat Texas at Texas that night, 3-0. Gave up 1 hit in 6 innings. And the lefty comes center the belt here, kicks and pitches. And it's outside. He then played here at Community America Ballpark going against Kansas City. Went 6 innings, gave up 6 hits and no runs, but Kansas City went on to win that game 2-1. As Gallus lines this one sharply but foul down the third base side. Dotson's last outing came on August the 20th against Joplin at Laredo. He went just 2 innings. Ended up getting the loss in the 2-0 game. Here's the 1-2 pitch, swung on and missed. And Gallus will go down on strikes for the second time tonight. That is the 6th strikeout here for Dodson. Now with Blackwood at first, one away here in the 7th, that brings up Tyson Gillies. Laredo leading it 3-0. First pitch to Gillies is swung on and lifted into right field. Phipps coming on, and it will drop just foul as Phipps went crashing into the wall. So now it'll take a couple moments for him to get the ball, then very slowly, very easily walking back to his spot in right field. Here's the 1-strike pitch to Gillies. It's down the dirt. As Poso was trying to get his catcher Chavez to try to get Blackwood on a back pick. Blackwood, who walked, gets his lead at first. Here's the 1-1, way outside. So Dodson not as sharp here in the 7th inning as we've seen him through his first 4 innings here tonight. Here's the 2-1 to Gillies, swung on a missed. Gillies batting .268, 4 home runs, 12 driven in. There are times he looks really good, and on that swing he did not. Back in on the left side of the plate. A fairly wide stance. Dodson's pitch is outside. So the count full now to Gillies. As Dodson gets the one he wants, comes set at the belt. The kick and the payoff pitch paints the black on the inside corner for a called 3rd strike. So Gillies was fooled, and he'll be the 7th strikeout for Dodson. And with 2 outs here in the 7th inning, it brings up Vladimir Frias. Kansas City has had at least 1 base runner. And check that, not at least 1. Kansas City has had only 1 in 6 out of 7 innings. As Frias goes after the first pitch, grounds it to the shortstop Rondon. He'll flip it over to Pulfer, covering second for out number 3. So Kansas City will strand yet another base runner here tonight. We've played 7. We head to the 8th. T-Bones trailing it 3-0. We're back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
It's always good to know that great doctors are close by. In fact, the great doctors of Providence Medical Center are right down the street from the ballpark at 89th and Parallel. Count on Providence when you need 24/7 emergency services, an accredited chest pain center, or specialized orthopedic and sports medicine services. Providence Medical Center is proud to be the official healthcare partner of the T-Bones. Learn more at providencekc.com.
At Community America, we're redefining wealth. It's time to focus on what really fills our lives with meaning. The experiences and relationships that define who we are and what we value. At Community America, what matters to you matters to us. Because when you have financial peace of mind, you can live life to the fullest. Make today wealthy.
Evan DeLuca on the hill for Kansas City as we go to the 8th inning. DeLuca came on with 2 outs and a runner aboard in the 7th inning. Walked Morrison before getting Jesus Poso to fly out to right, ending the 7th. So we go to the 8th with Kansas City trailing at 3-0. You know, we often hear the term must-win game, but Kansas City, if it wants to reach the postseason in a must-win situation. Chavez goes after the first pitch and lines it into center for a base hit. So Chavez, with his first hit of the game, he's 1 for 4. Brings up the second baseman, J.D. Pulfer.
Number 10, J.D. Pulfer.
The T-Bones coming into this game, 39-48. Laredo, 48-38. As the first pitch to Pulfer is down low. For all intents and purposes, Kansas City really not in the wild card chase. Almost mathematically eliminated from that chase. So really it comes down to winning the Central to get into the postseason as this pitch is in there for a strike. The T-Bones coming into today's action, trailing Lincoln by 7.5 games. As DeLuca with a long look in. Long enough that Pulfer will step out. And after such a great homestand last time, winning 7 consecutive, taking back-to-back series, back-to-back sweeps. As this pitch is popped up into shallow right field, Wiley giving chase toward the line. He'll make the play for out number 1. But through the first 4 games of this homestand, Kansas City's 1-3.
Left fielder number 23, Burt Reynolds.
So with 13 games remaining, including this one, T-Bone's 7.5 back. Burt Reynolds the batter now. Reynolds 0 for 3 with a couple strikeouts. Chavez gets his lead at first. He led off this inning with a single, and DeLuca will go over there and keep Chavez close. Laredo brought Reynolds in when they came to Kansas City last time, just about 2 weeks ago. Acquired him from Texas as this pitch is outside. On the season, Reynolds with 23 home runs. As DeLuca will step off, but all 23 of those home runs for Reynolds came while he was with Texas. So unlike Nieves, who was brought off the inactive list the last time Laredo was here and has gotten a hit in every game since then, Reynolds has not been the player thus far that the Lemurs expected him to be. DeLuca comes set at the belt. Here's the 2-0 pitch to Reynolds. It's a fastball high and away. And DeLuca, who walked about a last inning, is now behind 3-0 to Reynolds with Chavez at first and 1 out. Laredo leading it 3-0. We're in the top of the 8th. The kick and the automatic. And it paints the black on the outside corner for a call strike as Reynolds tried to take off, but home plate umpire Kyle Kilgore calls it a strike. So it's 3-1. Reynolds should still get a pretty good pitch to hit here. Reynolds, 6'1", 220, digs back in on the right side. Here's a 3-1 from DeLuca. Grounded sharply but foul. So DeLuca behind in the count 3-0 is now battled back to make it full here against Reynolds. Reynolds began his professional career in 2008 when he was just 19 years old. Went undrafted but signed with Tampa Bay. With one away, here's the payoff pitch from DeLuca. Runners going. The pitch is high and away. So 2 walks now for DeLuca. Now runners at first and second with one away here in the 8th inning for Brandon Metzger.
Center fielder number 34, Brennan Metzger.
Nobody warming up for Kansas City. Jordan Cooper will be starting for the T-Bones in the second game here tonight. It'll be Cooper against Troy Marks. As Metzger digs in on the right side, the first pitch from DeLuca is upstairs. DeLuca came in last inning with 2 outs, walked Morrison, but then got Poso to fly out to the right fielder Rodriguez. Here in this inning, a leadoff hit to Chavez, a pop out to Pulfer, a walk to Reynolds, and now 1-0 to Metzger. Check that, now 2-0 to Metzger. DeLuca really struggling to find himself here in the 8th inning. Taking a little bit extra time, a couple extra deep breaths. Now the lefty comes set at the belt, checks his runners, and fakes a throw to Chavez back at second. Zane Chavez at second base. Burt Reynolds is at first. Metzger, who's 0 for 3, steps back in on the right side with a 2-0 count. Wind blowing in from left center. Here's the 2-ball pitch. In there for a called strike. Metzger batting .128, no home runs, 5 driven in. DeLuca with a long look back at Chavez at second. Now comes to the plate with a 2-1 pitch, and it's in there for a called strike. Metzger spent 4 years in the Giants system. Beginning in 2012, but he did not play in 2013 after having 6 surgeries and having his colon removed. Steps back in with a 2-2 count. DeLuca with the 2-2 pitch. And the fastball at 90 is left upstairs, so we're full. Metzger has Crohn's disease. He started this season with Gary, played in 52 games before being released. Here's the payoff pitch. Runners going, and the pitch is outside. So the bases will be full now for the number 9 hitter, Rondon. And that'll bring out pitching coach Bill Sobey. The third walk given up by DeLuca. Chavez will go to third base. Burr Reynolds to second. DeLuca has faced 6 batters. He's recorded 2 outs. Shuttlesworth today went 3 2/3 innings, gave up 1 hit, no runs. He walked 1, struck out 3. He came out last inning after giving up a 2-out walk to Dennis Phipps. "3-0 your score in favor of the Lemurs." All 3 of those runs charged to Mike Kickham, who started this game last night. Went 3 innings, gave up 4 hits and 3 unearned runs. So the bag's full for Rondon. The first pitch to Rondon misses high and away. Still nobody warming up behind DeLuca. Shuttlesworth, it looks really good through his first 3 2/3 as this pitch is swung on and missed. Maz playing the percentages, bringing in the lefty against the left-handed Morrison last inning. Bases loaded, 3-0 Laredo. 1 out here in the 8th. The kick and the pitch. Swung on, popped up right side, foul territory. It's going to find its way well into the seats. Not to state the obvious, but to state the obvious, it'd be fantastic to get a double play here with Abel Nieves awaiting on deck. DeLuca gets the one he wants from Johnson, comes set at the belt. The kick and the 1-2 pitch. It's fouled back and out of play. One ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. 3 runs on 6 hits for the Lemurs. No runs, 3 hits for Kansas City. DeLuca, the lefty, comes set at the belt. The kick and the 1-2 pitch. Paints the black on the outside corner for a called 3rd strike. So DeLuca with a huge strikeout for out number 2. But now with the bases loaded, we go back to the top of the lineup with Nieves. Nieves 1 for 3. He walked and had an RBI single last night. Today he's flied out and grounded out. Chavez at third, Reynolds at second, Metzger at first. Johnson sets up Nieves way inside. Nieves goes after the first pitch. It's picked up by the third baseman, Ritz, who by the skin of his teeth will beat Reynolds going into third base. And by the skin of his teeth, I'm not sure Ritz really realized the speed with which Reynolds was going to be coming into third. Seemed to not even just going into third base to step on the bag. But thankfully for Kansas City, Ritz was able to get there before Reynolds would get a 5 unassisted. And even though the bags were full with 1 out, DeLuca will work around it. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th with Kansas City trailing by a score of 3-0. We're back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811, brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
It's always good to know that great doctors are close by. In fact, the great doctors of Providence Medical Center are right down the street from the ballpark at 89th and Parallel. Count on Providence when you need 24/7 emergency services, an accredited chest pain center, or specialized orthopedic and sports medicine services. Providence Medical Center is proud to be the official healthcare partner of the T-Bones. Learn more at providencekc.com.
Well, Reds, after getting the last out of the inning, will come up here leading off the bottom of the eighth, 3-0. Kansas City trailing. Kansas City down to 6 outs. They're trying to find a solution here for Zach Dodson. As this pitch to Reds misses high and away. I'm really not sure if Rents just did not realize with that third out on the top of this inning, if he did not realize how quickly Reynolds would be charging in. Obviously, he knew the situation. He knew there was a runner at second. He knew he had a force at third base. But you would not have gotten a big argument from Kansas City fans if Reynolds rather had been called safe. Reynolds barely beat Reynolds. Here's the 2-2. Down low, full count. Reynolds 0 for 1. Saw his first at bat here today in the third inning. He walked, was picked off by Dodson. Goes after this 3-2 pitch and lifts it high into right field. The right fielder Phipps is there for out number 1. So with 1 up, 1 down, it brings up the catcher, Nolan Johnson. Johnson 0 for 2. He struck out in the third inning, reached on an error, and was stranded at second in the sixth. He is the only base runner here in this game that Kansas City has had in scoring position. As the first pitch misses down low. In his last at bat, he popped it into shallow right field, and the first baseman, Poso, basically just whiffed on it. So Johnson was safe at first, went to second on the ground out by Massey. And with 1 out, Rodriguez flied out and Wiley struck out, ending the inning. 2-1 now the count. This pitch is lifted into deep right field. Phipps going back. Now he'll backpedal before camping under it for out number 2. Phipps had Johnson played way in. And Johnson drove that one opposite field, but Phipps able to track it down for out number 2. So 2 up here in the eighth, 2 flyouts to the right fielder Phipps. And with 2 away and nobody aboard, we go back to the top of the lineup now with Massey. First pitch to Massey, right down the chute for a called strike. So Kansas City needing at least 3 runs in the next 4 outs. This one's in there for a called strike. We saw the T-Bones put together a couple 2-out rallies in the first game of the series. As this one's a long way. They ultimately lost that game 13-9, the first game of the series on Tuesday. But they scored 2 runs in the third inning with 2 outs. The first base runner of that inning coming with 2 outs. As the count is now 2-2 to Massey. They scored another run in the 7th inning after recording the first 2 outs. Wiley and Blackwood singled before Gallus hit an inside the park home run. Dodson wheels and deals the 2-2 to Massey. Massey tried to hold up on a swing. He went around. He didn't even wait for Kilgore to appeal it. He knew that he had gone around for strike number 3. That'll be the 8th strikeout for Dodson. And Kansas City is retired in order here in the 8th inning. We've played 8. Kansas City down to their final 3 outs rather, trailing by a score of 3-0. We're back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
Country Inn & Suites in Village West is the official hotel of the KC T-Bones. We conveniently share the parking lot with the stadium and offer access to the best shopping and entertainment. Enjoy a comfortable stay with top-notch services and amenities. Start your day off right with our Be Our Guest breakfast. Our exceptional service makes Country Inn & Suites the ideal hotel in KC for anyone traveling for business or pleasure. Stay with us on your next trip and we'll have you saying, I love this country. Book today at countryinns.com/Kansas City KS.
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811, brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Evan DeLuca back out for Kansas City with the T-Bones trailing at 3-0 as we go to the top of the 9th inning. Matt Folks here along with you at Community America Ballpark. Nathan Moore will be with us during the second game tonight. This is a 9-inning game. The second game will be 7 innings. As we continue the game that was suspended last night due to rain after 2.5 innings. So here in the 9th, DeLuca facing Phipps, Morrison, and Poso, the 2-3-4 hitters. 3 runs, 6 hits for the Lemurs, no runs, 3 hits for Kansas City. DeLuca with nobody on, kicks and delivers, and the first pitch is high and away. As we see with a lot of relief pitchers, DeLuca working out of the stretch with nobody on. As the next pitch to Phipps is in there for a called strike. Here's the 1-1. It's low and inside. DeLuca able to work around a 1-out bases loaded situation last inning. Got himself into a bit of a pickle, but then able to work around it. Here's a 1 hopper over to Frias. From the dirt he throws, and it pulls Blackwood off the base. So Dennis Phipps will be aboard. I'm guessing they'll rule that a hit for Dennis Phipps. As it brings up Ty Morrison now. Morrison, the first batter that DeLuca faced. He walked Morrison, who squares around and bunts this one foul. Indeed, a base hit, so Phipps with his second hit of the game. Morrison 0 for 2. He has struck out twice and walked twice. He scored one of Laredo's 3 runs back in the 3rd inning. With a wide and wide open stance, the runner goes. The pitch is upstairs. The throw down to second base. Not in time. as Phipps will slide in safely with his second stolen base of the night. He now has 19 on the season. Nobody warming up behind DeLuca, so as of right now at least, this is his game. Here's the 1-1 to Morrison. Swung on, lifted into left center. Gillies charges in and makes the play for the second out, or first out rather, as he throws the second, trying to double off Phipps, but Phipps scrambles back safely. And now there's one out, the runner at second. Brings up the first baseman, Jesus Poso. Poso, 1 for 4. And on the right side of the plate as Phipps gets his lead at second. Poso goes after the first pitch and lines it into left field just under the glove of a diving Vladimir Frias. And just like that, Laredo with runners at the corners with one out. So 2 hits here in the inning. And with runners at the corners, it brings up the catcher, Zane Chavez. DeLuca kicks and delivers, and this one's popped up into shallow left field. Tough play. Frias goes back and makes the catch for the second out. Again, we've talked about that wind blowing in from left to left center. Gillies came charging in hard, but Frias was able to make the play. And with 2 outs and runners at the corners, it brings up the second baseman, J.D. Pulfer. First pitch to Pulfer is in there for a called strike. Top of the 9th inning, 3-0. Here's the 1-strike pitch. It's fouled back to the screen. And now Frias calls time and comes in and talks to DeLuca for a second. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Laredo with runners at first and third, leading 3-0. Phipps at third base, Poso at first. 0-2 pitch is low and inside, 89 on that fastball from DeLuca. DeLuca gets the one he wants from Johnson. Here's the 1-2. Foul down the right field side, out of play. So the count remains 1-2 with 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. All 3 runs here in the game for Laredo. All 3 runs in the game total at this point. Coming last night in innings number 2 and 3. as the 1-2 pitch is fouled back to the screen. One and two, runners at the corners. The pitch. High chopper to third, Rents up with it. Plenty of time, makes a low throw, but it's scooped out of the dirt by Blackwood for the final out. So once again, Laredo threatens here in the ninth inning, but DeLuca able to work around it with a big pop out to Chavez and a ground out by Pulfer for out number 3. We go to the bottom of the ninth. Kansas City trails it 3-0. We're back after this on the T-Bones Broadcast Network.
It's always good to know that great doctors are close by. In fact, the great doctors of Providence Medical Center are right down the street from the ballpark at 89th and Parallel. Count on Providence when you need 24/7 emergency services, an accredited chest pain center, or specialized orthopedic and sports medicine services. Providence Medical Center is proud to be the official healthcare partner of the T-Bones. Learn more at providencekc.com.
At Community America, we're redefining wealth. It's time to focus on what really fills our lives with meaning. The experiences and relationships that define who we are and what we value. At Community America, what matters to you matters to us. Because when you have financial peace of mind, you can live life to the fullest. Make today wealthy.
I loved when the ice cream truck came around as a kid, the familiar music and the cool treats on a hot summer afternoon.
What's your happy place?
Have a Frosty Treats ice cream truck at your next corporate or private party. FrostyTreats.com.
Country Inn & Suites in Village West is the official hotel of the KC T-Bones. We conveniently share the parking lot with the stadium and offer access to the best shopping and entertainment. Enjoy a comfortable stay with top-notch services and amenities. Start your day off right with our Be Our Guest breakfast. Our exceptional service makes Country Inn & Suites the ideal hotel in KC for anyone traveling for business or pleasure. Stay with us on your next trip and we'll have you saying, I love this country. Book today at countryinns.com/Kansas City KS.
I loved when the ice cream truck came around as a kid, the familiar music and the cool treats on a hot summer afternoon.
What's your happy place?
Have a Frosty Treats ice cream truck at your next corporate or private party. FrostyTreats.com.
We go to the bottom of the ninth with Kansas City trailing it 3-0. Rodriguez fouls the 1-1 pitch back and out of play. Zach Dotson's night is done, as Jeff Inman will come in. Rodriguez fouls this one back. Jeff Inman, the right-hander, essentially is Laredo's closer. He has 12 saves on the year. As this one's grounded towards second. Pulfer had Rodriguez played almost perfectly. Pulfer makes the play, 4-3 for out number 1. So with one away here in the ninth, that brings up the second baseman, Brett Wiley. Wiley 0 for 3, couple strikeouts, and a pop out. As Wiley watches Inman's first pitch in there for a strike. Inman, 6'3", 200 pounds. 2-3 with a 2.65 ERA, but as I mentioned, has 12 saves. Big swing and a miss. He pitched in Tuesday night's game. Came in and faced one batter and struck him out. That was a non-save situation. As Wiley lines this one to the shortstop Rondon, who's there for out number 2. So 2 up, 2 down here in the ninth, and it brings up the first baseman, Jake Blackwood. T-Bones down to their last out, trailing 3-0. Blackwood 0 for 1. He's been on base a couple times tonight. And on the right side of the plate is Inman, the right-hander, misses upstairs with the first pitch to Jake. Blackwood with 13 home runs, 63 RBIs. Digs back in on the right side. Inman with the next pitch, low and inside. Dodson, who's in line for the win tonight, went 6 innings, gave up 1 hit, no runs. Walked 2, struck out 8. Inman comes set at the belt. The 2-ball pitch paints the black on the outside corner for a called strike. So Dodson, who was supposed to start tonight's game, the finale of this series, came in today and did a great job. As Blackwood grounds this one to the shortstop Rondon, who bobbles it, throws to first, and they will say that Poso made the catch, and the umpire at first, A.J. Cho, was blocked, and now they'll say as the ball came out of Poso's glove, and I've never seen Maz. I've seen Maz come out of the dugout quickly at times. I have never seen him come out that quickly, climbing over the railing to get out. But the other 2 umpires, Kyle Kilgore and Kurt Brannon, saw it, and they say the ball came out. Now, not surprisingly, manager Pete Incaviglia for Laredo will try to plead his case, but Blackwood will be aboard with the second error of the night by Laredo. Blackwood not running hard out of the box, and he watched Rondon flip it around a little bit. Then Rondon ended up making a bad throw to first, and got the error. As the first pitch to Gallus misses outside. So Kansas City still alive with 2 outs here in the ninth inning, trailing 3-0. Gallus looking for his first hit. And he might have gotten it here, except it's going to drift foul. He got all of that one into the wind, but it hooked foul over the mini monster and left. Gallus with a couple strikeouts tonight. Back in on the right side of the plate. Him and the right-hander comes set. The 1-1 pitch is fouled back to the netting for strike 2. We have a 7-inning game coming up after this. We'll start approximately 20 to 30 minutes after the conclusion of this game. As the next pitch misses, low and away to Gallus. So the deuce is hanging wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Blackwood not being held on in this 3-0 game gets his lead at first. Edmond with the 2-2 pitch. It's grounded to Rondon at short. He'll flip to the second baseman, pull for covering for the force out of Blackwood for the final out. So Kansas City will drop the second game of this series. They have now lost the first 2 here to Laredo as they lose this one by a final of 3-0. So here's what we'll do. We're going to essentially wrap this game up, wrap this broadcast up, and then we'll be back with you in about 20 to 30 minutes. It's almost 7 o'clock here Central Time. We'll be back with you at about 7:20, 7:25 with a new stream. So if you're listening on the YouTube, check back around 7:20 or so, or if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you will get a notification, should get a notification when we begin the broadcast for the series finale and this homestand finale, as Kansas City is now 1-4 here in this homestand, but they lose it here by a final of 3-0. So with that, we'll get set for Game 2 today. Game 3 of the series, Jordan Cooper and Troy Marks coming up in about 20 to 25 minutes. Until that broadcast begins, this is Matt Folk saying be safe and take care, everyone. This game on the T-Bones Broadcast Network was brought to you by Community America Credit Union, Austin's Trailers and Motorsports, Funweiser, Coca-Cola, Price Chopper, Providence Medical Center, the Kansas Lottery, FlyKCI.com, Roma Bakery, Sheet Metal Local Number 2, and Kissick Construction. Tune in online all season to the T-Bones Broadcast Network. Click on the Watch Live or Listen Live buttons at tbonesbaseball.com. T-Bones Baseball, that's fun. Well done.